In this video, I'm going to be using the Rode Wireless Go, which is the audio you can hear now, and I'm going to be using it with the Insta360 1R. I'm going to demonstrate to you the sound on the Rode Wireless Go in lots of different situations, so by the end of the video, you'll have a really good idea about how good the mic is and how it compares to the internal mic on the 1R. And I'll also throw in a comparison with the Gopro Max to see how that internal mic compares as well. There's a lot covered in this video, so in the description below I've put in timestamps if you want to jump to a particular section. I'll start with some audio tests, and then at the end of the video I'll give you some hints and tips about how to keep the microphone receiver invisible when you're using the 360 mod. So I'm going to start with some audio tests in the kitchen and a bit of lifestyle vlogging just to give you an idea of how the mic performs when I'm moving around, and it gives you an idea of what it's like in a real life situation. Now this is a really controlled environment, so it's an ideal situation for me to test the camera mic while I move around the kitchen and grab some of the ingredients I need. So I need peanut butter. And the good thing about using the Rode mic, which is the sound that you can hear now, is that I don't have to be this close to the camera. I don't have to carry the camera around with me. I can move around the kitchen. I can be this far away, which is about 2 meters away from the camera, and you should still be able to hear me clearly. Now at the moment my back is to the camera, so we haven't got line of sight, so it'd be interesting to see whether you hear me on the final video. And of course we need the NutriBullet, which is over here, so I'll grab that and bring that over. Now this bit gets really noisy, so I'm going to put the volume on the mic on the Go down to minimum. You probably still won't be able to hear me, but I'll talk over the loud noise anyway, just to see how the Go reacts to something really extreme. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now this is a really loud and annoying sound. You probably won't be able to hear me. It's really worth going through the pain of hearing this, because afterwards the chocolate monkey tastes lovely. This movie's done, so let's enjoy. Cheers. So good. I've now gone back to camera mic just to give you another comparison with the in-camera mic. So I've now plugged the Rode Wireless Go back in, and we're going to see how the mic performs when we've got a wall in between the microphone and the receiver. So I'm going to go out that door behind me. Be back in a minute. So I'm now stood behind the door. I can still see the camera, and you should still be able to see me. But it's only one bit of glass and I'm only 3 meters away, so you should be able to hear me clearly. I'm now going to go a bit further away from the camera and sit on the stairs. Oh, hello Scooby. So Scooby's going to be with me on the stairs while I test this camera. So I'm now sat on the stairs with Scooby, and the camera is probably about 6 meters away, but definitely not line of sight. It's kind of round the corner. There's a thin glass door in the way and all of these stairs in the way, so there's a good chance that you won't hear me. So I'm now stood in the lounge, which is the other side of the kitchen. There's a thick wall in between us. There's no line of sight, so we've got the wall that's interrupting the microphone and the microphone receiver. So it's unlikely you'll be able to hear me, but if you can, then great. So we've finished the lifestyle stuff in the kitchen. Now let's see how this mic performs out in the car. So I'm now filming inside the car, and I've got the Rode Wireless Go radio mic on. The sound here should be pretty good. All the windows are up. There's no air conditioning noise. Obviously the radio isn't on. Usually the sound carries quite well in a car. Even though you've got the sound of the road, the sound inside I'd expect to be pretty good, especially on this mic. We're now using the in-camera mic, and in a scenario like this where we've got quite controlled sound, I'll be quite confident that the sound is going to turn out okay. The camera is about 2 feet away from my mouth. The window's closed at the moment. I'm now going to open the window up to see if that makes a difference to the sound. So we've now got a bit more ambient noise, so it should be harder to hear me, but I'm still pretty confident that this sound will be good. Be interesting to see how it compares to the Rode mic. I've now got the windshield on the mic, and I'm just going to wind down the window to give us a little bit of wind noise. It's quite a calm day, but there should now be more road noise and more wind noise coming in through the window. So let's see how that compares. There's no real wind blowing onto the mic. It's quite a calm day out. We're driving through the New Forest at the moment, and this is where we're going to do a lot of our tests today. We're going to do a range test, and the mic is meant to have a 70-meter line of sight range. In the distance, which you probably can't see, I've got a tree branch on the floor, and I know that that is roughly 70 meters, so I'm going to go to that point and then probably 10 meters beyond that just to see how far I can push it. For the first 10 meters, I'm going to walk with my back to the camera just to see if you can still hear me, because it's meant to be line of sight, but let's just see how good it is. So I'm now 10 meters away from the camera. I've turned back to the camera, as you can see, so I've got clear line of sight. And how good does that sound? So that's from 20 meters away. It's a beautiful day today. Couldn't have asked for a better day to test this mic. So that's around 30, 35 meters. If it's got a 70 meter line of sight range, then at this distance, I'm speaking at normal volume, and you should be able to hear me quite clearly because there is literally nothing in the way, as you can see. So this is at 50 meter range. So this is at the 60 meter marker. I probably just look like a speck in the camera because the lens is fairly wide anyway. I'm now at the 70 meter marker, and I hope that the sound is really good from here, because if it is, it's a real good testament for the camera how good the sound is. I'm going to walk another 10 meters out. So that's at 80 meters away. I'm really pushing it now. I'm going to go another 10 meters. That's 90 meters away now from the camera, and I'm facing the camera. And now I'm going to start walking back towards the camera. Obviously with the Rode mic, it's going to work a lot better with line of sight. But what happens if we break that rule and we go into the trees and block the mic receiver just to see how it performs? I'm just going to nip into the trees. I'm going to maintain line of sight for probably the first few meters, and then I'm going to duck in between the trees to see if you can still hear me. I'm just going to duck under here. I've got my back towards the camera now. So I've lost actual line of sight, but you should still be able to hear me, but I'm not sure. I'll duck behind this silver birch tree. Here I am, over here. And I'm just going to go behind this tree here. So I'm like 15 meters away from the camera. Just over here, I don't know if you can see me, it's probably quite a wide shot. I'm probably about 20 meters away from the camera. And I'll just get line of sight again. Oh, can't even see the camera, must be over here. Yeah, so I'm just over here. Whether you can see me or not, I don't know. But I'm 20 meters away from the camera. And I'm stood right behind a tree. Now that's a very different test to what we did earlier back in the house with the walls, but I'd be interested in where we've got that intermittent breakup of the signal as to how that affects the sound. A lot of you wanted to see how you use this mic with the 360 mod, and there are lots of ways that you can use it. I've got a separate video coming up soon that will explore the number of different ways that you can hide the mic using the 360 mod. And at the end of this video I'll give you some tips about how to hide the mic based on some of the shots that you've seen on this video. This is a basic vlog style shot using the Insta360 1R and the 360 mod, and I'm using the Rode Wireless Go mic, which is attached here. But even though I'm using the Rode Wireless Go mic, I don't have to stay on such a basic shot. I can still come out to a shot like this, and the Rode Wireless Go mic receiver still remains visible. It's shots like this where using the 360 mod come into its own, because I can get shots like this, the no drone, no problem shots. The camera's way up above my head, but I don't have to shout for you to hear me, because you should be able to hear everything I say on the wireless mic. There are lots of different shots that you can get where the camera's away from your body, and you can still take advantage of the 360 mod and get some really cool shots and carry on talking to the camera, and you don't have to rely on the camera mic. As a quick comparison for this shot, I've now unplugged the Rode Wireless Go mic and I'm now on the camera mic on the Insta360 1R. So how does this sound compared to the Rode mic? As a quick comparison test here, how do the sound tests that we've done so far compare to this mic, which I'm using now, which is the sound from the in-camera mic on the Gopro Max. So the camera is about 18 inches away from my mouth, and ironically there's a little bit of a breeze now, which is what I wanted just a minute ago when we were testing the Rode Wireless Go. So we've tested the mic on foot, we've tested the mic in the car, now let's get on the bike. So I've got a helicopter on my left, so I'm going to be fighting over the sound of that, maybe a little bit. Sometimes when you're riding your bike, it's good to be able to, I will actually wait for the helicopter to go, but interesting to see how that affects the sound. I've managed to get the windshield back onto the mic, and obviously now I'm on my bike, there is a bit more wind noise. Hopefully the windshield will actually stay on. Be a miracle if it does, because it keeps dropping off. It's always good to be able to get sound on your bike, even if it's just for a commentary of where you are. In an ideal world we'd have the 360 mod on, but that's a test for another day. This isn't the best picture here because I'm riding with the sun behind me, so I'm a little bit dark, but I'm riding into the wind, so I thought it'd be a really good test for the wind noise on the mic. I've got the windshield on, unless it's blown off. Let me double check. No, it's still there, which is a miracle. So I've got a little bit of a hill to climb up. You can see the sun right behind me. So in a minute I'm going to change over to the camera mic just to see how that fares in these conditions, and I imagine it'll be quite good because I'm very close to the mic on the camera. So I'm going to stop recording and then unplug the mic. So I've just unplugged the Rode mic and I'm now on the in-camera mic. Tractor coming this way, it's going to get a little noisy. Okay, I'm going into the wind again now. Sun behind me. Chances are the audio is not going to be very good here because there's probably going to be wind noise all over the mic. Wow, so that was an epic day out with lots of really great tests. But before I look at the results, let's take a look at what's in the box, the mic's functions, some tips about mounting the mic itself, what I didn't like about the mic, and also mounting the mic with the 360 mod. So in the box you get the microphone itself and the receiver, both of which are tiny. They're approximately 42mm square. 2 USB charge cables, 2 windshields, a mini jack to mini jack cable, and a neoprene protective pouch. Simplicity is the main thing I really love about these mics. They really are plug and play out of the box. And after charging them you get approximately 7 hours of battery life. Once you turn the mics on, the signal LEDs light up to indicate that the mics are connected. They have an on button and a dB button which has 3 settings indicated by a volume icon, which equates to -12 dB, -6 dB and 0 dB. This makes the settings on the mic really simple because there isn't really much to set. You just plug the mic in and then you're ready to go. There isn't a lot to see on the LCD screen on the mic, but it does have a display showing the mic level which goes from green to yellow to red, and red would indicate that the sound is clipping or distorting. The screen is really hard to see outside, and although there isn't much to see on it, it would have been nice every now and then just to reassure you that there is audio there, that you could see the levels moving up and down. When you plug the mic into the 1R, a mic icon comes up to tell you that an external mic has been connected. What I would like to see with a future update with the 1R is the actual mic levels on the screen. Attaching the mic is simple. It literally just clips on using the clip on the back. You can clip it either way around, but I find if you place the mic on the outside it does stand out a bit. By turning it around it's more discreet, and your clothing can act as a bit of a windshield as well. Even though the mic is really lightweight, it's still actually heavy enough to make your clothing flop forward. I made the mistake of using that zip top in the video that you've just watched, and the mic pushed the top forward, which meant that the mic was at times pointing downwards, which affected the sound quality. This is just to demonstrate the importance of mic positioning. At the moment the mic is pointed upwards, and in some shots in my videos the mic flopped down and went downwards and pointed forwards, which would dramatically affect the quality of the audio. You're better off to clip the mic on a chest strap on a rucksack, or to clip it on a firmer neckline on a t-shirt or on a jumper. The Rode does come with 2 windshields. I think they're really poorly designed and they push on loosely to the top of the microphone. And the worst thing is that the clip that clips the mic to your top is located so close to the actual windshield that if you put the windshield on and then clip the mic to your top, then it will just fall off. If you have this mic and you found a solution to the windshield problem, then please let me know in the comments. An alternative that I haven't tested yet is an external lav mic, which would plug into the existing mic here. And that way you could have this part of the mic placed in your pocket or in your backpack, and then you could hide the small clip mic more easily underneath your clothing. Mounting the mic receiver on the 1R with the 4K mod is really simple.
As you saw in the video, you can use the 360 mod as well, but you just have to make sure that the receiver doesn't show up in your shot. There were two ways in this video that I kept the receiver invisible, and the first way is the easiest way and it's the most obvious, and that's to reframe your shot so it's pointing away from your receiver. So for this shot, I simply mounted the receiver on top of the camera as per normal and then reframed the shot pointing downwards, which avoids looking at the mic and the receiver. And the same principle for this shot. And the second technique that I used in this video was using the Ulanzi triple cold shoe mount. You plug your adapter into the camera as normal, and then you buy an extended mini jack to mini jack cable and hide it in the stitch line of the camera and run it down your selfie stick, and then you mount the Ulanzi cold shoe adapter at the base of your selfie stick, and you can then hide the mic receiver underneath your hand so it's completely out of shot. You can then look in any direction with the 360 mod and the receiver will remain invisible. For the audio in this video from the Rode Wireless Go, in the edit I had to increase the volume of all of the shots. This was for three reasons. One, to compensate for my poor mic positioning at times. Two, because I'd set the dB level to -6 and I should have left it at 0. And three, which is the most important one, is that the 1R mic input levels are actually quite low. If we just look quickly at this test here, where the mic is in the perfect position pointing directly at the mouth and the sound levels are set to maximum. This is a test with the Rode Wireless Go going into the Insta360 1R at maximum volume. The sound levels are only peaking at -15, and usually they'd be peaking around -3 or -6 around this area here. And this certainly doesn't put me off the mic because I can still adjust the levels in the edit, which I have done in this video. But for those that haven't got the ability to adjust the mic levels once they've shot it, this may be a factor that would put some people off using it with the 1R. The in-camera mic on the 1R was good kind of half the time. It did pick up a lot of clanging and knocking when we used it inside the car, and also it was pretty much unusable when we used it on the bike because of the wind noise. But every now and then the in-camera mic did surprise me. It's just a shame that you can't 100% rely on it, and occasionally you do get that computerized sound to it. Whereas the sound of the Rode mic was very focused, it was very natural and sounded very warm. The range on the Wireless Go was incredible. I think it would have easily gone to 100 meters because even at 90 meters there was virtually no breakup at all. And even when you disturbed the line of sight in amongst the trees, there was hardly any breakup, and more surprisingly, when you put a solid brick wall between the receiver and the microphone, there was no breakup at all in the house. Overall, I've really enjoyed using this mic on this video. I love how simple they are to use, how tiny they are, and how much more versatility it gives you when you're shooting with them. Let me know in the comments what you think of these test results, and if you've learnt something new, please give this video a thumbs up. You can watch these two videos next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.